It's 8 o'clock in London, 3 p.m. in Philadelphia, and all around the world it's time for positive mental attitude.
Hello, hello. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you let me know in the comments? How are we doing? Is there anybody there? I can see that there are. Botrix has correctly joined the channel. Fantastic. So, how are we doing? Are we alright? Let's have a look. Hiya, Kirsty, how are you doing? You okay? Steve-O, how's things, bud? You okay? Casper, how you doing, mate? Botrix, hello and welcome in time. Good. I've had one or two strange things happening with technology recently, which is not good. Hopefully it'll be alright now though. Hopefully. And it may not be, but it might be. You're good to hear it. Hello Mandy, how are you doing? You alright? How's everyone? Are we all managing to stay safe from Storm Isha, is it? The one that we've got at the moment? Because it's a little bit rough, isn't it? Let's have a look. So much so that I didn't get to sleep till about 6:30 this morning. It was so ridiculously noisy. About 10 feet away from where my head was on the pillow is the fence with next door. There's the little gateway in the path next door. And then the fence panels were all banging and smashing and all kinds of stuff. It was horrible. So I just about managed to fall asleep at 6:30. And then my daughter rang me this morning to pick it up after being at a party. 17-year-old rang me last night and said, Dad, can you send us 30 quid? I need to buy ale. Okay, fair enough. Why not? So we're all doing right. You've got to go out in a bit, Kirsty. Be careful because it's still rough out there. Not as bad as it was last night, but it's why does it get worse of a night? Why is that? Is there a reason behind it? I don't know. Yeah, but it intensifies here as well, Casper, yeah. For some strange reason, I don't know why that is, but yeah, it was alright. It was a bit windy, and then last night, it was like the end of the world was about to happen. And even before I went to bed, I was in the front room, and you could hear the rain bouncing off the conservatory roof. Just the conservatory comes like a drum, to be honest. It's that loud. Now for about 2 hours, we'll get yourself sorted. Make sure you get yourself ready. I'm going to push that down, otherwise I'll keep looking at myself rather than the camera. Yeah, make sure you're all sorted. You need wedges in your fence, along with the bats in my belfry. I do. I need to go out there sometime this week and have a look and see exactly what's going on with it. I thought we had them. Obviously not. Or they might have blown out during one of the previous 27 storms that we've had this week. Greetings and salutations to you too, Saf. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, if they are shaking, cut some wedges to push between the panels and the posts. That is going to have to be what we have to do, I think. Because it's getting stupid. There's only about 4 or 5 of them down the side that are making the noise, but it's really loud. Can't be doing without every night. Can't be still awake at 6:30 in the morning. Here we are. Daniel, good to see you, mate. How's things? You okay? It's noisy at night because it's the only noise, like a ticking clock. partially true, but also I can be in my room during the day where there's no other noise and I still don't hear it. Nothing else on, no TV. But of an evening, it's just, I don't know, weird. It's just weird. It's weird. Have I said it's weird? It is weird. Friday, you had a snowstorm and now it's nearly all gone. Temperatures are going to rise to 8 degrees Celsius overnight, so the storm gets more intense. Sounds a bit similar to what we had. At some point earlier on this week, it was snowing. Really cold, horrible, miserable, and then all of a sudden, the temperature's just gone up to, I think it was 11 degrees at some point today, if I remember rightly. Let's have a look. Yes, it's 11 degrees now. And due to go to about 12, it's going to be the highest tonight. Which, considering it was -5 about 4 days ago, it's just mad thing, fam. Tuesday's going to be 13, a high of 13. So it's just, actually I don't mind this particular, the temperatures. The lowest is going to be about 6 or 5 degrees. The highest is going to be 13. I don't mind that range, that's okay. The -5 is stupid. That was so dangerous driving earlier on this week. Tuesday, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Tuesday when it snowed. And we've got no gritters because the council are absolute muppets. So it was very dangerous driving in a rear-wheel drive automatic in that weather. I had to really take my time. Black ice on the Wednesday. Fantastic. But then we can't really moan. When you have a look at where we are on the globe, we are very, very, very far north. Cold weather is to be expected. Especially when you get those polar vortexes coming down. Yeah, Friday almost -13, and now it's +4. It's that weird. I said this before on one of the I think it was on a short, which might have come from Alive. The difference between, say, 20 and 10, it's noticeable, but it's not as bad as that difference between about 5 and -5. That's completely two different worlds. It is cray-cray. You need to stop knitting so you can chat. Yes, you do, Mandy. Otherwise, you're never going to get points. Kirsty, the world is warming up, so why are we getting -5? The globe is warming up. So the overall temperature for the entire globe is getting higher and higher, to the point where it is getting to that tipping point beyond which we can control anything. It's called climate change for a reason, though, because it then means that there's places who are getting cold. There's cold weather where you wouldn't expect it. There's hot weather where you wouldn't expect it. We're going to get loads more of these storms. We used to get one every year, or maybe 2 or 3 if it's a bad year. But now we're getting 7 or 8 a week, just because of how bad things are. But that's the way it is at the moment. We can't do anything about it. The people in charge don't seem to be bothered in the slightest. So the globe will melt to a crisp before anyone does anything about it. Yet you can't find a milder climate at our latitudes than UK and Denmark. We are outliers completely. Very, very, very strange. Everywhere else at this latitude is absolutely Baltic. In some cases, literally Baltic. Because we are on a level with Newfoundland, Canada. If you go to Canada during this time of year, it can be exceptionally cold. Yeah, don't worry about global warming. World War III is just around the corner. I might be called up to that. If I can manage a drone with one hand, that's the way the next war will be fought, won't it? People behind computer screens just blowing rocks into sand in the Middle East. Also, some of the big companies can make a few more pound, or sorry, a few more dollars. Most of them American companies, aren't they? The ones who are behind those weapons, those munitions. They like making a few quid. Man, you are on the last leg, literally. Does that mean you are a little bit drunk? Are you watching Adam Hills on TV? Yeah, weather and climate is two different things. Well and truly. Essentially, gamers, that's exactly what it is. And it has been for a while now. Why send any of your troops into an actual battle when you can just have people sat at home? You can do it in your basement. Just log on. Instead of a streamer key like we have to use on here, it'll be a death key. Put that in. And then off you go. Go and drone the shit out the Middle East. Marvellous. You're inland and about 6 miles from the sea. That'll help make it even more mild. Well, it does. It will do where you are because of if you get some of the moisture out the air, it doesn't make it feel anywhere near as cold as it can do. The wind chill factor always feels worse when there's moisture in the air. On the other hand, where we are in the UK, because of that Gulf Stream, because we're near the water, it keeps us a lot milder. And then that moisture in the air means that it snows just to the east of Manchester and all over Yorkshire. Because let's face it, they deserve it. Manchester, that is. Because it looks nice. The Pennines look lovely. Mind you, so does Huddersfield looks fantastic in the snow. I remember coming through there on a train on the way back from Newcastle. Looked stunning. Very nice. Those old school walls, the proper Emmerdale farm walls, you know, big chunky thick dry stone walls covered in snow. Violet, nice. Yep, the same as in the cities, especially London, Kirsty, with it being a massive city. There's loads of concrete and loads of brick, and that tends to heat up during the day and then releases its heat late on during the evening when it starts getting cold. So London is always about 6 or 7 degrees warmer than we are up north. Noticeably warmer when you get down there as well. I mean, some of the north is stupidly cold. Tell you how cold it is. I went to Newcastle once and I saw a Geordie girl putting on a cardigan. That's how cold it was. Ridiculous. One of the coldest places on earth. Have you ever seen a polar bear in Newcastle? No, because it's too fucking cold. True story. The last leg of Mini Horace. I look forward to seeing him completely finished. When I say completely finished, Horace, do not worry. I'm not going to rip your head off, or I'm not going to let Jeff do it either. Shit, I mentioned his name. Saf, you will not be called up to serve. Your armed forces are idiots. The naval headquarters are in Pretoria. That's over 1,500 kilometres from the ocean. That makes perfect sense. That way you're not going to get bombed, are you? You won't have someone in a frigate or a destroyer off the coast bombing your naval headquarters because it's that far inside the interior. Perfect sense. Yep, very true. What side would your country be on? Good question there. Obviously South Africa have had a very, very strained relationship with a lot of, not just the Western world, but the global South as well. But they seem to be doing the right thing at the moment. And once you've been through harsh times yourself, you should recognise some of that. So I think they'll be on the right sides. But how many points do I need to reach level 19? Mandy, this is not ChatGPT. This is not AI. You don't get questions back. Yeah. Our politicians would follow the money trail, which unfortunately loads of them do. And it leads us into some horrific things. Again, that's why we end up in wars all the time. In the US, I feel sorry for the US. The politicians and the people in charge are absolute warmongers. Which, it surprised me that 9/11 took so long to happen because so many people around the world are annoyed with the US interfering with their politics. And, South America gets democratically elected socialist government and the CIA go and assassinate the leader to put someone else in. And you end up with people like Pinochet in Chile and all these murdering lunatics. But, you know, at least they're not socialists. And yeah, the people who are really in charge of the country, it's never the president, it's always a company who's in charge. They make a lot of money out of wars and selling bombs and things. So the US is always going to be a target, which we know plenty of American folks, they're all sound. Why are the government doing this constantly? Ours are even worse, I think, the UK, to be honest. We've done it consistently over the years. Yeah, Israel. The South Africans getting involved in Israel by understanding exactly what an apartheid state looks like and how best to avoid it is not by dropping white phosphorus and things like that. You know, chill. The whole world needs to chill. Of course, they don't want it to chill. The Middle East, the UK and the US. Evil, evil, evil regimes. Try and keep the Middle East constantly bubbling over. Because if you do that, it means at any second that you want, you can just go steaming in. Did it with Iraq and Libya because they wanted oil. You can say how bad Saddam Hussein was, but he wouldn't allow something like ISIS to happen in Iraq when he was in charge. The same with Colonel Gaddafi in Libya, wouldn't stand for it. As soon as he got rid of both of them two, they created a power vacuum. And what happened? That vacuum was filled by ISIS, by absolute lunatics. Iran used to be a forward-thinking sovereign nation. They used to have a king. The UK got involved because there's oil there, of course, and then turned it into a very, very extreme Muslim country, which we're now looking at going back in and bombing the shit out of. Keep it bubbling under. Keep funding Israel and Saudi Arabia, so you're funding either side of the divide, and then you can just go in and do what you feel like when you feel like. It's disgraceful. It could all be sorted out very, very easily, but they don't want to do it. Dwayne Eddies, it's all about the Dwayne Eddies. Yeah, charcoal again, is your slidey thing sponsored? Charcoal Coffee Company by our mate Adam. Make sure you get on it, some fantastic stuff on there, genuinely gorgeous coffee. Siri might know. Do you know, strange fact, I am followed on Twitter or X by the original voice of Siri, a woman. She was the original voice. And she follows me on Twitter, along with David Hasselhoff, Trevor Simon off Going Live. Some mad things. I had Benicio del Toro used to follow me as well. And then he deleted his Twitter account and then started a new one and forgot who I was. And Ali Sheedy from the Breakfast Club used to occasionally DM me, asking me questions about what lunatic stuff I was writing. But sometimes I do write in a Scouse accent, or a Scouse vernacular anyway, and I don't think she knew what was going on. I still love that idea of David Hasselhoff sat at home looking on his phone and thinking, what on earth is a narky blurt? And why is this lad calling someone? It's a narky blurt, lad. You didn't bite Siri, by the way. You're blaming autocorrect. You shouldn't be biting Siri. I mean, you can write it if you feel like. Officially, there's lots of officially going on there, Kirsty. Suffocation. Psychiatrist Zachariah. That sounds very Jeffish, to be honest. I wonder if Zachariah was Jeff's psychiatrist. He sounds like he could be. Ooh, still warm, but not as warm as the thermos thing. Jesus. If I'm going to do that, I have to make that cup of tea about 4 hours before I jump on the stream, otherwise it's too hot. So get yourself one. Did somebody drop a few names there? Yes, just because it's mad. Used to get an email from Twitter saying such and such has just followed you. David Hasselhoff has just followed you. It was like, what on earth is going on here? I should have kept that one. But it was good. I like that. Have I seen a movie called Charlie Wilson's War? I haven't, Steve. Where was that on? Is that available anywhere? I used to hate war stuff, but as I got older, it's something that I do actually enjoy now. Seeing exactly what's going on in the world in the past. Right. Tom Hanks dealing in Afghanistan. Oh, I think that's the kind of thing that I should be watching. Is it on Prime? Let's have a look. Is it on Prime? Oh, my phone, man. I'm sure I've done something to it. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie's Angels. Charlie Wilson's War. Yep. Right, well, add it to my watch list so I know it's there. I will check that one out, Steve, and let you know how I got on with it. What car that you owned did you wish you never sold? That would be my very first car. Most cars that I've bought since, I've always thought have been newer, but it turns out they weren't. In 1991, I bought a 1978 Ford Capri, and I wish I'd have kept hold of it because they're now worth quite a few quid. But not just that. Ford Capris are just epic cars. I think everybody who grew up in a certain era in the UK loves a Ford Capri, thanks to the professionals. Car chases, driving through cardboard boxes, things like that. I loved it as well, absolutely loved it. I only managed to drive it a little bit because in 1991, the insurance, I think even back then, was £1,000 for a car that cost me 70 quid. So it got binned. 1978 1.6 Ford Capri. Man. Plus, I wish we'd managed to keep hold of my dad's XR4i Ford Sierra. If the lottery ever comes in, I'm buying one of them. I love it. The first of his cars I ever got to drive. Yep. Sorry, it's the wrong way around, isn't it? Homer Simpson with a sword-wielding slug on his head. Mandy's mentioned this before, and now that she's mentioned it, that's all I can ever see. I hope you're happy with yourself, you evil sod. 1-0 South Africa against Namibia. Brilliant, good stuff. Hup Safaros, hup. For watch it to the end, that's so important to what I was talking about. Good, I like Tom Hanks anyway. Isn't it strange, some of these actors who can go from being, I don't know, okay actors, pretty good comedy actors, to all of a sudden being just superb dramatic actors, and you can drop them into anything and they seem to suit it well. Is that camera a little bit fuzzy, or is it just me? I'll have to mess around with that, I think. Yeah, I'll definitely watch that. It's not on Amazon Prime at the moment, but I will find it. Sounds just my kind of thing. Plex might have it. Plex is good for stuff like that. Wish your dad didn't sell his 2-litre Capri. That was his coolest car. 2-litre Capris were sound as well. The 3-litre is the one that everyone went mad about over here. Twin exhausts. Oh, the Brooklands especially. But yeah, you can't beat an Al Capri. I am the one wearing it. It is me. I'm all about the Ninja Lucian, man. You asked your uncle why there's so many cars rusting in the woods in Sweden. So that's the heyday of Swedish cars. If you had motor trouble, it was cheaper to buy a new car and dump the old one. Just dump it in the woods. Wow. Mad thing, fam, mad thing. But yeah, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? I'd love to drive there. I was moaning early on about driving in the snow, but it's different driving in the snow when you know there's going to be snow there and you're expecting it, to waking up one morning and just all of a sudden you can't see anything. Ferguson, fucking Buddhist. I'm presuming that's not Duncan Ferguson. It doesn't come across as being particularly Buddhist. Oh, you had a South African only 5 litre Capri Piranha. Ford dropped a Mustang engine in so it can compete in local motor racing. I have seen that somewhere else, and I don't know where I've seen that. I know South Africa is obviously it's huge for car building, but especially Fords. There's a lot of Fords that are over here now, Mark II Cortinas, Mark III Cortinas, and Capris and things that were South African built. You drive on the left-hand side, don't you, in South Africa? So they are right-hand drive. And the weather's better over there, so you can end up importing them to the UK. There's no rust. They're the same cars that we remember, but easily fixed, easy to look after. Normally a lot cheaper than it would be to buy one in the UK, bizarrely. I like that. Might look at that. See if I can find an old Ford in South Africa myself. I have never ever owned a Ford. I've driven loads but never owned one. And my daughter's looking at a Ford as well, even though she hasn't passed the test yet. She's gone through the Mini and Vauxhall Corsa and the Fiat 500 to now wanting a Ford Focus. But it's got to be a white one, obviously. Steve, you wish you didn't sell your Suzuki GSXR 1100. You bought it for 1,800 quid 25 years ago now. It's worth for over £5,000. Yeah, I'm not a bike person myself, but I remember my mates absolutely lusting over that one. They're the kind of things, probably wouldn't have cost too much to keep hold of it and keep it somewhere dry as well. But if we'd have done that, everyone would need a barn, wouldn't we? Full of stuff that we wouldn't want to get rid of. Oh, we did the same with the Sierra, dropped a 5 litre in and called it the XR8. Oh, man. To say we had the XR4i, which was the 2.8 V6 fuel injected. Gorgeous car. I always thought it was really quick. Nowadays it wouldn't be considered quick, but it was the fastest 50 to 70 mile an hour car that I've ever been in. It's absolutely amazing to pick up. The Lamborghini Miura door panels were made in South Africa. I could probably afford a door panel off a Lamborghini, that's about it. I've got a car symbol to put up on screen like the football. Yes, and I will also put up 2 knitting needles. Wind your neck in, Mandy. I'll bear that one in mind. Not a car, but you had a Bitcoin once, back when it was maybe £80. Oh, hindsight is a bitch. Jeez. We don't know these things, though, do we? Until it happens, because eventually it might just go to nothing, so you may as well chuck it in while you've got a few quid. But yeah, no one knows how it's going to work out. Although, I don't know, Bitcoin and all the other e-currencies, all they are really, though, is a Ponzi scheme, aren't they? Pump and dump schemes where other people are going to lose out. So if you know a guy who buys Escorts and Cortinas and ships them to the UK to be sold there, put in a good word with me, with him for me. What I need to do really, isn't it? I need to get this channel stratospheric, go Mr. Beast style, and I can buy as many cars as I want. I do want a barn full of cars. 24 years ago you met Helen and sold a bike. Steve, that is the best swap you will ever make in your life, mate. A bike will break down on you. It won't start in the morning. It won't be able to hug you at night. Fantastic swap. Be thankful. Yeah, here to lessen rust in cars. Many places use sand instead of salt when the roads get icy. Yes, something that's been mentioned in this particular town, seeing as though we are a seaside town where the sea never comes in. We have got a beach the size of the Sahara Desert, and they still don't think about just throwing sand everywhere because it would be so easy to do, but they won't. Half-wits. 2-0 South Africa. Go ahead. I'm looking for a Mark 1 or Mark 2 Escort. It would have to be a Mark 1. I love them. My uncle had a Mark 2, which I remember me and him trying to fix the floor in it because it was like a Flintstones mobile. You could see the ground underneath as you were driving. and he fixed it with, I think it was, must have been fiberglass or something like that. It was a stupid way of fixing it, instead of getting it properly welded. And he binned that off and got a Mark III Cortina, which I used to clean for him every day. The cleanest car in Garston. Just because I was so obsessed with cars as a kidlet. If you mine Bitcoin, you use a lot of PCs, a lot of power. It's basically only in the Irkutsk region where electricity is so cheap and viable thing to do. Such an odd concept. Yep. Didn't he say mining Bitcoin is one of the most CO2 intensive things to do? It's worse than like coal mining and all kinds of stuff. It's mad. Irkutsk in Russia, yeah. Irkutsk in Russia, rather. Bloody cold. Aisha will spread the sand, you don't need a gritter. She should do. It is literally just there. Did I know they build new Mark 1 and Mark 2 escorts in Wales? Yes. What was that on? Was it Car SOS or it was on a car show? I remember seeing, and there's a place down in just near London where they will soup up an escort for you. An absolute genius at it. So it's probably quicker than anything on the road. You'll be next to these boy racers who don't realise what you've got, and all of a sudden you'll be disappearing down the road and with nothing for them to see. Succubus, ooh. That's something that has been mentioned on this channel before. The succubus. The female version of the incubus, of course. As we all know. If anyone wants to know what that is. An incubus is a male ghost that appears and has carnal knowledge of a woman. And a succubus is the female ghost that has carnal relations with a man. Incubus and succubus, there you go. Your Datsun 120Y was multicoloured and rusted, but you thrashed the living hell out of the car, you still miss it, of course you do. We create these real relationships with cars. They're not living, they're not human, they're not animal, but you spend so much time with them that they are part of the family, aren't they? And that's why if you ever look at YouTube, it's full of car nuts, because they genuinely, lads, I know man, lads, it's either football or cars. I know Auto Alex was talking about it. Apparently you don't like both. You either like one or the other, which is utter shit, because I'm obsessed with football and cars. But not football in cars. Actually making solar panels and windmills produces so much CO2, and people often forget that. Especially making solar panels where you melt charcoal with silica, right? You know, it's supposed to be short-term pains for long-term gains and stuff like that, isn't it? The same with electric cars. The CO2 footprint of an electric car is way worse than a diesel. You have to drive your electric car for about 20, 30 years before it starts crediting. And of course, by that point, the battery's not going to need another one, which then sends your CO2 through the roof again. And you have to mine precious metals to get it, which is very CO2 intensive. Yeah, for a moment, it sounded very much like Jeremy Clarkson, only without the shit haircut. This is the problem I've got, you see. I know loads about loads of stuff, but not everything about one particular, subject. Some people are genius in one subject. I know quite a bit about loads of stuff. Not enough to be an expert, but just enough to be an annoying gobshite on YouTube, which I think I'm doing particularly well at the moment. Speaking of which, I mentioned Michael Collins taking a picture, didn't I? When he was looking down from his particular capsule and he's seen Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong in their capsule, and then the Earth in the background. So that every human being, everything that lived in history was that side of the camera, not him. And anyway, AI cut that little bit and I put that on YouTube as a short. and straight away within seconds of posting it, the Americans faked the moon landing. Oh, for fuck's sake. Is it not just a nice fact that, this happened? But while we're on it, on the moon landings being fake and things like that, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again for those who didn't listen first time round. Landing on the moon is the greatest propaganda win in history. Okay, the US and the USSR were fighting against each other in the Cold War and the propaganda war. The USSR was way ahead of the US because of having the first man in space, the first Sputnik as a satellite and things like that. They were way ahead. If the Americans did not land on the moon, the Russians would be able to prove it, and they would have done that so they didn't lose the propaganda war. Every radio telescope on Earth was pointing directly at Apollo, it was 11, wasn't it? Apollo 11. They've seen them all the way down, they've seen them all the way up and back. If it hadn't happened, the evidence would have been there, and someone around the world, especially the Russians, would have said, no, here you go. It didn't happen. So, it pretty much did. Occam's razor would tell you that it did. Because if it didn't, the evidence would have been shown, like, how many years is it now? 50 odd years later. It would have showed you. Yes, the best YouTube channel in the world. Well, we're getting there, aren't we? Because apparently there's been loads more videos that people are getting sick of the Mr. Beastification of YouTube. People are turning off from 1 second edits and loads of shouting and bright flashes and all that rubbish, and are going back to just people sat in front of a camera talking. There's a hugely popular fella who's like a farmer in the deep south of the US, just sits in like a rocking chair and talks to the camera, dead relaxed and chilled, and people tune into him because that's what it is, relaxation. You're not going to get that with Mr. Beast screaming at the top of his voice, are you? The noise from a local windmill is often an issue there. They kill a lot of bats. Ugh. It's this weird dark rumble in the distance, but still an amazing thing to have. I did not know that. They didn't just go once they had 12 people on the moon in the Apollo program. They also laid mirrors on the moon that showed us the moon is escaping us like an inch every year. Yes, I've seen that. The laser reflectors are still there and you can still see it. It's marvellous, isn't it? All that evidence is there, and yet now, the people who say it didn't happen believe in a flat earth. Exactly, Steve. Mad, isn't it? I would love to be one of those mad billionaires with a rocket. Just start getting some of these people, put them in a rocket and say, right, come on, let's go up and have a look. You can see for yourself. Look, see? Round. It's mad. You had Greek mathematicians in the 1600s knew the thing was a globe and could actually measure it. And Bubba from Shriveldick, Arkansas is saying, oh no, it's definitely flat. For fuck's sake. It's nice seeing those debunking channels though, where they calmly point out everything that's wrong with someone's argument. And all they get back in return is, you're just a paid shill by NASA. Is that all you've got? Isn't that what they want to happen? Do you know what? I don't think they do. I think all they want is to make sure there's enough of a grey area that they can make money on YouTube. It's clickbait. Controversy sells. That's why you've got so many people talking absolute rubbish. Because you're getting loads of people clicking inside and then putting comments on videos and what have you. The algorithm, all it keeps getting tickled. And then they end up making more and more money out of it. So it's all about making cash. It's not about being truthful at all. Take a bunch of death row prisoners and put them on a work colony on Mars or Jupiter. Yeah, we've sent you back a prize, a wagon full of red dust. Saf leveled up to level 7. Brilliant. Clickbait for idiots. Exactly, Steve. That's exactly what it is, mate. But the only dangerous thing, obviously, is more and more people believe it. Like, I don't read the Daily Mail, obviously. Obviously I don't. But someone put the front page on Twitter earlier on today. We eradicated measles and now it's come back because people just don't want to take vaccines because there's so much stupidity around vaccines. All started off with Dr. Andrew Wakefield, who has been struck off because he's an absolute lunatic, just making stuff up. And then you'd put that on the internet and it's clickbait everywhere. And we're going to end up with the plague will come back, the Black Death, scrofula. I don't even know what scrofula is, but all that's going to come back. Trying to convince a flat earther that the world is round is funny but annoying. It is, especially as the Flat Earth homepage states that they've got believers all around the globe, which is a marvellous thing to have. Back to cheating. Fair enough, Kirsty. A Danish astronaut live streamed from the International Space Station not long ago. Stuff like that's fascinating. How on earth can he manage to do that? And yet I can't do it from Southport without Jeff pissballing about. Did he get any, I don't suppose he had a stream deck up there, did he? And there was no Horace or Kippers involved. But it is mad. The fact that you can do that nowadays, just, I don't know how many miles is it, 68 miles in the air, is it? Is it 68 miles? Let's see how far up it is. How high is the Shard? No. Oh no, 68 miles. 254 miles. Jeez. That's even madder. 400 kilometres, 250 miles high. Mad. And you can get a decent signal as well. It's mad. He's obviously not getting fibre optic, is he, up there? 3-0 South Africa. Fantastic stuff. Against stupidity, even the gods fight in vain. Absolutely. Some people just can't be told. Definitely some people can't be told. Which reminds me of that little poem. You can tell a girl who's Swedish, you can tell a girl who's Dutch, you can tell a girl from Liverpool, but you can't tell her much. She will not be told. I'm going to walk out this door in a minute, my man's going to lay me out with one right hand. She'd have to get a chair first, obviously. She wouldn't reach otherwise. Mark Shuttleworth was the first South African and first African in space. When he came home, he moved to the UK. I know we've got quite a successful sort of space industry over there. And well, we used to be very much in part of the European Space Agency. So it's probably worthwhile being in Europe somewhere. And I think probably being South African, you could move to the UK with a little bit less problem than going anywhere else apart from maybe Netherlands. He knew someone whose cousin worked for his company before he sold it to Microsoft. He gave all the staff, including the gardener, about $200,000 as a thank you. Oof. Fair play. I like people like that. Sharing their good fortune. Not that it's actually good fortune, it's probably down to a lot of hard work and ability. But, share as much as you can. That's what I think. Always good to see. I was going to say, I don't know why I'm warm, but I've just said I've night 11 degrees and I just got out the shower before I came here. No wonder I'm boiling. No, that's not going to work. That is evil out there. Truly evil. Thankfully, I don't think I need to be out in the car tonight. Wouldn't have fancied that. It's bad enough going out this morning. Quiche, originally Swedish haggis. I'm not sure that's 100% correct, Kirsty, but I might start referring to quiche as Swedish haggis from now on. Even Sweden has a space program now. We had an unofficial program. One of the guys was the submarine killer. Yeah. Don't want him in charge, really, do you? Actually, now to get a visitor's visa to the UK is a nightmare. It takes about 4 weeks, and the embassy keeps your passport while you wait. A lot of that now will be down to Brexit, of course, where to get rid of all the red tape, the unneeded red tape, apparently, they've now made the red tape about 6,000 times worse. As someone who works in a department that has to deal with some of that red tape, I know how bad it's got. To the point where people are just giving up on import and export and stuff. Because it's far too difficult. It's just not worth it. It's stupid. And then of course we got the government gave 500 million, wasn't it, to Tata Steel to keep the Port Talbot steel smelting works open. And they did so for about 5 months, and now they're closing them and walking away with all that money in their pocket. Stupidity. Oh, the lights have started flickering, Steve. Is that Storm Aisha, or is that Kev? Is that Jeff being a knob? Kev, nice to see you, mate. How you doing? An 8-week wait. Mad, isn't it? It's the same with import and export. Just absolutely insane how many things you now have to fill in. Whereas before, you'd do something online and you'd have one piece of paper and just hand it in. Someone would quickly look at it, look in the back of your truck and go, yeah, off you go. Now you've got to fill in ream after ream of paper, and anything you want to bring in. Is it 2 weeks' time, the end of, well, not even 2 weeks' time now, is it? The end of January, it's going to get worse as well. You know, it's just, the food's going to go down the pan. There won't be as much stuff on the shelves anymore, unless they kick the can further down the road yet again. Man, that yours have been flickering since you turned them on. It's a storm. People don't think we get storms, really, do they? Oh, it can't be that bad. It is, you know. Been quite calm that side of the country. I think obviously it's an Atlantic storm front that's coming in from our side. Hopefully by the time it gets to your side, it's blown itself out a little bit. But if you live in Ireland, or I think probably Cornwall, a lot of the northwest, Scotland and places like that, it's horrific. How does the border situation work now between the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland? It doesn't, unfortunately. It's square peg in a round hole. They're trying to make it work, but it's getting nowhere near that, because you can't. They said there wouldn't be an invisible border in the Irish Sea, and there is. Because Northern Ireland is UK and Republic of Ireland is Europe. So it's a little bit, it's going a little bit mad, I think. Something needs to be fixed. The viewing hours, where are we? Up to about 1,400 at the moment. It's the lives that are doing a lot of the heavy lifting. The huge majority of my views at the moment are coming from shorts, which is fantastic, and I'm getting loads of subs on the back of it, but not a single second of it counts towards viewing hours. That's just how it is. But we'll get there. Might take a while, but we'll get there. I mean, it's quite funny. Where's the, see if I can find the analytics. for watch hours. I don't know, see if this, the watch hours for the last 365 days, I don't know if you can see that. Where else it, no, it's not having any of it today, is it? Go away. You can pretty much see that it's, at the start of it, it's quite low and all of a sudden there's a spike and then it goes up. That spike is when I started live streaming. So before that, there was what I thought was decent amount of watch hours, and then all of a sudden that huge spike. And then off you go, it's there all the time. So it probably by, I don't know, July or something, I might have hit the 4,000. Yep, 4,000. Got to be there. We'll get there. As I said, at the moment, 1,400 and odd. Which, to be honest, that's going to be since about August, July, August, I think it was, when I first started proper doing the streams. So it's not that long. But we'll get there. 3,000 for the to get into the partner program for the first little bit of it, but you don't get the advertising. It's not, you don't get the AdSense. If you want a satellite overview of any part of the world that updates a new picture every 5 minutes, that's mad, isn't it, where we are these days? Or you can just have a look anytime that you want. You know, look at live streams from the ISS. You look at webcams from the top of mountains. It's just mad. It's all there, constantly at your fingertips. You're watching Big Jet TV this afternoon. They had 28,000 watching and picked up 5,000 subs in one afternoon. I watched them, was it 2 or 3 years ago? No, it wasn't 2 or 3 years. It wasn't that long ago, was it? When we had that first big storm. And they picked up loads at that point. I think Airliners Live did the same thing. They just hit 1 million subscribers as well. But even when there isn't a storm, I still like watching stuff like that as it's there in the background, dead relaxed and chilled. The Liverpool airport one's good, because I'm from that end of the city myself. Just seeing an area I know quite well from a completely different viewpoint. They have them in the old watchtower, I think it used to be. So it's rather nice. 3-0 South Africa at half time. Good stuff. Is there a live stream from the deep parts of the ocean? I would think there will be some live streams from the ocean. I think the deepest part, like the Mariana Trench and places like that, that might be more of a problem. You wouldn't be able to get a signal up from there without having some kind of physical connectivity to the vehicle. I think it'd be a bit difficult, wouldn't it? Probably it'd be easier to live stream from the top of Mount Everest than it would be from the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Or from space, as we know they're doing at the moment. Mad. We've even had no problems from outer space, haven't we? People singing David Bowie songs while circling the surface of the Earth. Storm Eunice had 300,000 watching live. That's the one, Steve, I remember that. Watching pilots trying to land in that ridiculous weather. I mean, everyone was watching it. I suppose about those 300,000, there's about 200,000 of them watching it in the hope of seeing a fucking plane crash. As that's what normally happens with the lunatics that are people watching too. That moon's moved, hasn't it? Oh yeah, it'll keep on moving. I forgot, I didn't take it off swirly rounds. You've got one that does whale watching in Hawaii. That sounds like a good one. And no doubt there'll also be live streams for the Northern Lights, the Southern Lights, just everywhere. If you're somewhere where you can throw a camera up and leave it running, you're going to get your 4,000 watch hours within, a couple of weeks. Just leave it running. You probably do that. I mean, if you watch Winter Watch was on last week, wasn't it? On BBC. And they had their cameras are up all the time. So they just still have a nest somewhere, like a buzzard nest, and there'll be people watching that all day long. Just have it on the background. If something happens, they'll quickly jump up and have a quick look what's happening. They must be making an absolute bleeding fortune, them lot. Yeah, the volcanoes as well. They're always fantastic live streams. Again, they're the kind of thing that you just throw on and it's chill in the background in the hope that at some point it might explode and then you can relax a little bit. Chris Hadfield, that's your man. Canadian, wasn't he? Recorded a space oddity in space and shot the video there as well. He was, I think my daughter's school, a primary school, had them watching that. So she started singing all the words to the Space Oddity, and I thought, where on earth has she heard this? And it was just down to him. It's fantastic. Big Jet TV has a 30-second delay in case something happens and they can cut the feed. That's, well, fair play to them. As much as you get loads of views, you don't really want to be watching stuff like that, do you? Wouldn't be nice. There's a bay just south of the North Cape in northern Norway. They have a live stream that has some amazing scenery. They have the polar nights still at the moment. I reckon that'd be lovely to watch that. As soon as you get your webcam, be prepared for fishy live streams. So if you will absolutely smash them. Again, there's people who've got a loop of a fireplace on YouTube and getting millions of views just by people want to put it on the telly in the background while they're listening to music. There's everything for everyone out there, isn't there? There's some underwater lives on YouTube. To say there's everything for everyone. You didn't notice the moon in Jeff Salter. It's there, but it's moving around, and also I've got the big lights on, haven't I? Big lights. I raised my daughter right. Well, I did and I didn't because she was into One Direction and all that shite to begin with. And then one day she was singing I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and I was delighted until she finished it with National Accident Helpline. So she got that song off an advert and I was gutted. But then all of a sudden, after buying a guitar for her, she's starting to get into real decent music and the kind of music that I like as well. So me and her have got something in common and something we can talk about. She does occasionally ring me up and start talking about different chords and guitar pedals and things. Conversations I never thought I'd ever be able to have with my daughter. But it is fantastic, I love that. I thought it was just going to be One Direction and boy bands for the rest of her life. All of a sudden it's not. Yeah, did you pick a name yet, Saf? Leaning towards Mother City Fish, but you still have suggestions? Yeah, there's always someone will come up with a better idea, so keep those suggestions open, keep the suggestions coming if you come up with a decent idea for Saf's Fish channel. Should be good, that. Christmas morning essentials watching is a crackling fire. If you haven't actually got one in the front room, definitely just throw one on there. Unwrap your presents. Open the ale early, obviously, that's what we do in the UK. Can of special brew with your breakfast. Off you go. That's Crimbo for you. You have to throw a lot of hashtags at it. I don't know how they work, the hashtags, on YouTube especially. The tags, the normal tags, apparently don't really work at all. Which I think even YouTube admitted. They're next to useless. And yet, they still have them on there and they still keep going on about how important they are. Mind you, I don't really listen too much to these people. YouTube gurus constantly changing their mind. Do this, do that. Use your tags. No, don't use them. So make your mind up. They're a load of shit. They don't know what they're talking about, half of them. But they say it with such conviction that people believe them. Half-wits. Yeah, Saf, do you want some links for the underwater lives? I'd say, yeah, get them and have a look. See what you think. Yep, Breakfast of Champions. Buckfast, if you can, of course, for the real high class. Be thankful I've never tasted Buckfast. But I remember, who was it? Someone said somewhere that Buckfast, and there used to be like a hair lacquer. It used to come in a little red bottle, like a miniature red bottle, and people used to pour that into the Buckfast in Glasgow. So when you were wandering around the streets of a morning, you see loads of these little red bottles apparently. So the city was famous for that at some point. People drinking hair lacquer. Oh, hang on, I think I've frozen, haven't I? Give us a second. Is that working? Yes. Have you noticed? Did you notice? Sunday's just Monday Eve, isn't it, Jeff? And all of a sudden the camera stopped working. Tim? It's that vicious blue-skinned bastard yet again. I hate him. Manatee live streams. Did they do an afternoon matinee? Because I think Manatee Matinee would be a brilliant channel name, wouldn't it? That's working now. Yeah, I do always look like that sometimes. Is that him crying out for help, is it? Is that Jeff wanting to be part of the... Want to be part of the bloody programme. Tales from the Crypt with Jeff. That's who he's up to now. Oh, Jeff, the TV years with the director Quentin Tarantino. Are you recalling Jeffrey? Oh, he was on Rainbow, was he? I can't remember that. Only Ghouls and Horses. I was the original Trigger. Well, the suit's not far off. A little bit darker, obviously. Auf Wiedersehen, Jeff. I can't remember seeing you. Genuinely. And I watched that programme from start to finish several times. Hoo-yah! Yep. Yes, I hate Jeff because he gets more views than me. He does. And also he's got better cheekbones sometimes. And better horns. And better goat feet. Yeah, only Ghouls and Horses. It's that suit. I should have recoloured the suit, shouldn't I? Light blue. I didn't realise he was so heavily involved in the TV industry, is our Jeff. But I think tomorrow I need to take that apart. I said I was going to last week, didn't I? And I didn't because I'm a stupid, fatigued, bone idle bastard. But I do need to unplug the camera, especially, and start from scratch, I think. And if not, I've got a second camera and a second cam link anyway. So I could just plug that in somewhere else if it stops working and move to camera 2, like a proper TV studio. Do you know what? I might do that. I've got another camera, proper camera, and I've got another 2 webcams that I can just have plugged in elsewhere. Just as a fallback in case he starts acting a maggot as he normally does. Does blonde Jeff have more fun? Blondes always have more fun, don't they, apparently. Don't know with Jeff though, because he looks like he's having fun when his hair's blue and his fingers are red with the blood of his enemies. Yeah, he's had the pitchfork for 4,000 years. Only had 324 handles and 157 heads. You know it's Steve, that's exactly what it is. Absolutely. Goedenavond, Hadewig. Hoe gaat het met je? Ben je goed? How's Lego getting on? Poor sod. Horrible seeing that. You're not late, Hadewig, you're not late. Just lucky that you weren't here for Jeff pissing about with the stream and stopping cameras from working. Even now it's not working properly, is it? No. He's definitely doing something. Yeah, I need to have a little bit of a fallback with this, I think. For when it does, it's obviously going to go knackered at some point. He's sleeping a lot, as he will do if he's getting better. Getting better than yesterday, yeah. Oh well, let's hope it starts going a bit better for him. Horrible to see animals in pain. Horrible seeing anyone or anything in pain, but animals don't really, they can't complain, can they? They just seem to get on with it and you think, oh, you poor sod. Right, I'm going to try something very quickly.
But Kipper's Vindaloo can't be good for you.
So we'll go to Kipper's Corner.
Kippers kicks ass. Kippers kicks
Yes, Jeff is
ass.
pissing about yet again. DPD customer service chatbot swears and calls company worst delivery firm. Anyone see this? Musician Ashley Beecham was faced with an unhelpful customer service AI chatbot when he started causing chaos and was able to get the bot to amusingly turn against the parcel delivery company. He did, and he got it swearing and doing haikus and all kinds of stuff. Not as good as Horace's haikus, obviously, you know. Chatbot message not delivered. Oh, here we go. No, do you know what? I'm not even going to bother with that. Let's go back to this and see if this has fixed itself slightly. No. Well, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, those chatbots are absolutely awful, aren't they? They're supposed to be there to give you help, and they don't. I need to speak to someone, a human. Slightly tipsy. Had a week last night. After one glass of wine, too. Cheap date. Very cheap date by the sound of it. After one glass of bloody wine. He's already peed on 3 legs with a little bit of help from you. That's good to hear. Oh. You get by with a little help from your friends. Chatbot, yeah, they're so annoying. When just, if you let me go through to a person, I'll be on the phone for 30 seconds, I'll tell them what the problem is. They'll either fix it there or say, I can't do it now, I'll get back to you. Simple. No, you got to spend half an hour pissing around with something that keeps sending you back to the same. Go from the start. Has this fixed it? No. Tell us what's wrong. I've just told you 20 fucking times which is wrong. Yep, definitely a good boy. Tries to pee on 2, which doesn't work, obviously. No, you can't. Poor sod. Hopefully I'll get there. And again, they never moan. Just get on with it. He also tried to steal rabbit ears out of the kitchen cabinet. That is a fantastic sign. When you're not lying there, just doing nothing, when you're getting up and trying to start getting into the kitchen cabinets, you're starting to get better. Brilliant. Definitely a good sign. Good lad, Lego. It's getting worse out there. Why are there rabbit ears in the kitchen? Why wouldn't there be, Steve? Why wouldn't there be? Where else are you going to keep rabbit ears? Are they a snack? Like popcorn and crisps. Just sit there watching a film eating rabbit ears. Yep, snack time. Yeah, don't ask, it will give you nightmares. Jeff, on the other hand, is just sitting there thinking, of course it's going to be rabbit ears in the kitchen, along with pints of blood and spleens and things. Yep. Who is it for? Hadwick, who is it for? You or the dogs? Because you never know. Oh, of course you went vegetarian. And one of the things you can't have when you're a vegetarian is rabbit ears. So they're for the dogs. I know a few farming folk, and they do tend to eat some strange stuff. Pig's ears seem to be quite popular. I also knew a couple of farmery types that used to eat lamb fries, they call them, didn't they? Testicles. Ram's testicles. Why would you? Well, there's loads of nutrition in that. Well, I know, but there's nutrition in steak or tofu. Don't need to be sat there eating bollocks. No need, man. No need. Used to knock me ill that when I worked for a butcher. Just used to occasionally do a bit of work for him, deliver him. That was one that ended up giving these fellas ram's testicles, and then one of them in the pub just picked one up and bit into it. It's like, oh my God, you dirty bastard. Could you not have had a bag of peanuts or something? Ugh. Had we never had testicles? That's it's good to hear, to be honest with you. Yeah, Steve doesn't believe you. Casper, you once saw a man step backwards into a bucket of bull's bollocks and slip and fall. Eek. I used to hate that working for him. He was a lovely fella, the butcher, very well regarded. Top man to work for, but occasionally just surrounded by all that blood and the smell of death. It was horrible. Good job this isn't on dinner time, isn't it, really, this? Bulls, bollocks and rabbit ears. It's at the B-side of the handbags and the glad rags, isn't it? The bulls, bollocks and the rabbit ears that me poor old grandad had to sweat to buy you. Yeah, Kirsty's got a Dutch keyboard on autocorrect on. I had to turn mine off because it was just trying to send a normal text was just bedlam, absolute chaos. In the end, I think my English language dictionary, or whatever it is, whatever you want to call it on there, spell checker, has now started just to recognise Dutch words anyway. Rocky Mountain oysters, yep, they're the ones. Better off still attached to the animal, I think. Again, not my scene. And I'm eating less and less meat all the time these days. Or trying to, at least. Doesn't do much for me. Most meat that I eat, of course, being from Liverpool, is chicken. There you go, your Dutch autocorrect doesn't respond to English words anymore. Just accept them. Yep. Same with me. Once you put Dutch words in so often, it goes, alright, fair enough, you're on your own now. I'm not trying to warn you. But having both on at the same time is just, it's far too mad. Nothing seems to work. And you end up sending some, and for me, if I start to send really strange messages, I get ones back saying, are you alright? Do you need to speak to a doctor again? Because when I had the stroke, oh my word, some of the things I sent to people. I sent a couple of messages to my boss while I was in the middle of having the stroke. What a fucking idiot that I am. Sorry, I can't carry on with work today, but I'm waiting for an ambulance. And when I looked at it weeks later, I thought, this makes no sense. How on earth did she sort of see what I was trying to say? That first couple of days, though, some people kept hold of their messages and send them back to me. Mad. So I don't need Dutch autocorrect making people think I'm having a second stroke. They worry, they're concerned. So now I'm alright, it's just, you know. Did you ever have Rocky Mountain oysters, Casper? Have you ever tried them? There's too many things to try. Things that I wouldn't even look at twice. Like the Australians eating witchetty grubs and things like that. Well, they're full of protein. I know, but there's a KFC down the road, mate. Just go and order something from there instead. Don't be digging out these massive tube worm stupid things. Would you not consider a salad rather than a witchetty grub? I don't know, if you're stuck in the outback and you need protein, you need it quick and you can't find a shop, then you need to eat stuff like that. But Bear Grylls, another one, showing you what you can and can't eat when you're out, when you're stuck in the middle of nowhere. Just tell us you can eat it, you don't need to show us you're eating it. We all know that you go back to a hotel afterwards anyway. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Casper. Not for me either, mate. Definitely not. Mind you, my ma's cooking is that bad that don't suppose there'd be any hardship eating something like that. My ma's got a black belt in cooking. Kill anyone with one chop. She can boil a nice bit of toast. Ours is the only house in the street where the bin bags of our ulcers, you know, all that kind of stuff. Speaking of Duolingo, I must remember to carry on with that later. I'm up to like 230 odd days, I think. Let's have a look. I think, where are we? Oh no, 241 days I'm up to. Which is mad. You don't eat much shellfish. You see where they put the pots out to sea? Yes, Steve, exactly. The same here. And considering they are bottom feeders, you see exactly what goes into their diet. I wouldn't eat them either. Horrific things. Mandy, if you was me mum, you'd make me cook for myself. That's not what parents do for the children, though, especially children with only one working hand. But I am getting to the point where at some stage fairly soon I might be able to start cooking for myself, and when I do, I will happily do so. Although I need to have a think about that as well. A lot of the stuff that I thought was healthy that I was eating in the past wasn't the most healthy. So I need to make sure I'm getting the right balance. It's a shame as well because my dad's a fantastic cook. You broke your vegetarianism last Christmas with coquille. What a coquille? I need to know this now. Scallops. Ooh. They are very nice. But again, like Steve said, UK scallops, we know exactly what goes into them. Because of where the outlets are and what comes out of those outlets into the sea. Yeah. Cold, Mandy. Freezing cold. Evil. Borderline evil. You and Jeff get on quite well. You need one hand to operate the microwave. Very, very true. Which I have done in the past. In the not too distant past. But again, I try and stay away from the microwave stuff as much as possible. Apart from occasionally when I go into Tesco, I'll go to the Yo Sushi heat at home things with the rice bowls that they do. Oh, with the Korean fried chicken and rice. Oh man, they are so nice. We've got a Korean place round the corner from us. Well, round the corner, about half a mile down the road. That also delivers. So I think I might have to help myself to one of those this week. Looks amazing. Sleeping on the couch again tonight, taking a hot water bottle with you. Woken up by your cold feet. Wear socks. If you're on the sofa, hot water bottle. Thickest socks you can find. If your feet are warmish, you'll be alright. They can wake you up. Especially when you're 6'4", 1m93. You end up normally with them sticking out the bottom of the bed, which is why I've got an absolutely humongous bed, and I have loads of different blankets. I've got a duvet with a big long red winey blanket over the top, another one at the bottom which goes over the end of like a sort of sleigh bed, and that covers in case my feet come out the bottom. I try and sleep corner to corner, which is not bad going really for someone who's supposed to be a smidge under 6'2", this stupid bastard woman. Why did I bang my head on the door on the way out then if I'm under 6'2", you dickhead? I have a tendency to fall asleep on the sofa during the day. I did it twice today. But then, like I say, I didn't get to sleep till 6:30 this morning. You took the bottom of the duvet in, Steve. Dare I ask, where do you took it into, mate? Yeah. I don't think I can with mine. Again, I've got I think it's a super king size bed with massive duvet and everything, but just to make sure I'm fully covered, I don't think I can actually tuck it into the bottom. But I make sure I have really thick blankets at the bottom of the bed. That should cover me. I've also got a body pillow, which I like to cuddle during the night, so I don't get lonely. Bottom bedstead. Why are you calling me bedstead? Right, it's the bottom of the bedstead, yeah. Hotel style. But at least you can move. You can't move in hotel beds, can you? I don't know how they managed to do that. They've been stuck in a bloody coffin in some of those hotel rooms. Had to stay in quite a few hotels over the years, especially with work. Some are better than others. Stayed in one in Leicester, that was quite nice. Only a cheap and cheerful thing, but the bed was absolutely amazing. Huge fluffy pillows. I was shattered after a long day of travelling and a long meeting. Plus a few beers, obviously. Got in there. And then I think I was asleep before I closed my eyes. I had to wake up to close my eyes and then go back to sleep. It was mad. Yeah. Put 2 duvet covers on, sleep inside the outside one. That's fair enough. So warm underneath, warm on the top. And I'll make sure I have a pillow up right between us so you don't snore in the face. Snoring men. I used to snore a lot. I think it's down to it's alcohol that does that with me. Not sure I still do it now. Occasionally I'll do that thing where I wake myself up by going yeah. But apart from that, I don't think I snore anymore. But only Horace or Kippers will be able to tell you. Yeah, it could be a lot worse, Steve. Pillow could be on your face and held down. Yeah, you sure that's the reason, Steve? Or are you mumbling about motorbikes in your sleep? Is that what it is? Well, I think I want to tighten the arm on this. Considering it's my bad arm as well, and the arm on the chair is starting to act the maggot. No es bueno, man. Mandy's in a fractious mood tonight, isn't she? Fighting back. Is this all because we started off with car talk? Had your needle sharpened tonight, have you? The Wi-Fi went, right? That's going to be storm related, I reckon. Possibly why the camera's been acting mad tonight. Storm Aisha. Aisha? How do we pronounce it? Because you can pronounce it both ways, can't you? I only know that, of course, because there's a female crickety woman who does the commentary on BBC called Isha. And where's Aisha? There's someone else I know called Aisha with the same spelling. So we don't know these things. Could be either way, could be either. The bitrate is working well today, apparently. Stayed very, very steady, but there's definitely something not right with that camera. Definitely not right. I don't know. I'll unplug everything tomorrow. See if I can plug it back in. Maybe that'll work. And I'll definitely put up a second camera. So you might get a different angle if it goes tits up next time. Maybe coming from there instead. We shall see. I wonder how that would work as a background. Very pretty young woman. Is that Isha, is it? The crickety lady. She is, yeah. They recorded 100-mile-an-hour gust in Capel Curig earlier on. Is there a bottleneck there at the moment? The Half Man Half Biscuit song, that, by the way. Bottleneck at Capel Curig. I love Half Man Half Biscuit. My dad used to know them because they're big Tranmere fans and he used to play for Tranmere. That's football chat, Mandy. That is actual football chat. That's heavy at 100 mile an hour. That's like proper hurricane force wind, that, isn't it? Is that what it's classed as? 100 mile an hour. We need to look at this, don't we? There we go. Hurricane winds are 90 to 100 mile an hour gusts. Or 90 to 110 mile an hour with 115 to 135 mile an hour gusts. So that is pretty much hurricane weather. Heavy, that, man. Proper heavy. Finally found me on Spotify, Steve. Brilliant. Thank you. I need to start recording some more of them because I've got episodes lined up. I've got the music lined up. I just need to sit in front of a computer and not smash it to bits because the podcasters for Spotify app that they have on the web page is bloody awful. Record everything, put everything completely fantastic in order, save, and go to check it, and it's suddenly deleted one of the links or one of the songs off it, and it's just a pain in the arse. Used to be, I'd just do it on my phone. There's an app, I get all the music set up in Spotify as a playlist, and then just throw in a little lav mic or something into my phone and record them. I'd do 3 or 4 episodes in bed of a night without even trying. Now you can't do it. It's bloody awful. Mandy, you ain't listening. Yep. Just for a change, not listening. Too busy planning your next evil edict. Now we're talking about Capel Curig. Half Man Half Biscuits have a song called Bottleneck at Capel Curig. They seem to delight in some of the weirder places or the less mentioned places in the UK. And Capel Curate's got a great name to it, the same as Zeal Monacorum down in the West Country. Don't know if it's Somerset, Devon or Cornwall, but it's down there somewhere. But they love that kind of thing, a random name from somewhere. Man, you deleted Spotify. Are my shows that bad that you've deleted an entire app just so you don't have to listen to me? Heavy salad, that, man. Heavy salad. Selective Earring. Weren't they a Dutch band? That's Golden Earring. Close. Oh, we're going to have to go and see our last little chum, aren't we? Otherwise you'll be absolutely fuming. Horace's haikus. There we go. I can hear thunder. The conservatory's shaking. My arse has gone here. Hoo-yah! Poor old Horace. I know it's been a bit rough, and there has been a little bit of thunder and lightning around as well. Or there was a couple of days ago at least. Yeah, I didn't play your songs yet, Mandy. But you will be the first person on the second episode of RDA. If more people want to get involved, I might just have to put that back in the RDA chat and see if anyone else wants to be involved. But yeah, there's a limit to it, because otherwise, I mean, the last one that I've done, the last podcast episode that I've done is the alphabet. So I had to split that into two. So it's 13 songs each, because 26 songs plus links would be about 3 hours long, and it's just far too long. I've had to split that into two, and it's the same with the RDA. You can only do a certain amount of people, otherwise it'll go on for far too long and people just won't even listen to it. Wait until I do the prog rock one. Oh, holy jeez. That's going to be a mad one there. 10 songs, each one 28 minutes long. That'll be the kind of thing that I keep Daniel going from his trip from Maryland down to Florida. Don't bother, you're not going to hear it. Fair enough. Although, it's also for the rest of the community to have a little bit of an idea of what kind of songs represent each other. So I quite like that. Steve, you're null and void. Yes, Hocus Pocus, they are prog rock, with the fantastic Jan Ackerman on guitar. Absolute genius of a guitarist. And the famous song Focus, Hocus Pocus Focus. They're very well regarded, to be honest with you, Hocus Pocus. But yeah, Jan Ackerman, I remember when I first started playing guitar, and you start looking into these guitarists. Obviously it was always people that go on about Jimi Hendrix and then Carlos Santana. You're just trying to learn little bits from each one of them. Jeff Beck. Jan Ackerman was always mentioned as someone that you need to go and listen to and try and learn little bits from. I could never really play like him though. So I probably could now, but I can't because my left hand's not fucking working. It was that long ago, you'd have changed them by now anyway. Yeah, again, that's part of the fun of that kind of playlist. I'm the same myself. If someone asks me what my favourite songs are, I will give them a list. Ask me tomorrow, they will have changed completely. My top 10 won't even be the same top 10 anymore. All depends on what mood I'm in, what I've been listening to recently. But I think it's nice. Someone was listening to the RDA one the other day from a Twitter follower, Twitter friend, who was asking about some of the songs that were on there. It's not the normal kind of thing that I would put on my particular episodes that I do. Not that every song sounds similar, but there's a vibe when I do my ones. Suddenly it's just completely different things constantly. And I like that. I like the fact that it's completely different. And when you listen to it from start to finish, it's lovely. Happens to you, but some hold a special place. Yep. As always, I think music's one of those things. I think we've mentioned this before. music and smells are two of the things that are the most evocative you can possibly have. If you smell something, it's an instant reminder of where you were, and songs can be a reminder of where you were, or can remind you of someone or something that happened just immediately as soon as the first couple of bars kick in. It triggers that emotion in you and that memory. It's amazing. I love music for that. I love the fact as well with music, you don't necessarily have to be able to speak the language that the music is in, the lyrics are in. If it's sung, you don't need to understand what's going on. Or even if it's just instrumental, it can be completely different music, but it's still, you can find a commonality with someone else. No matter where you are in the world, music means something to you. There's always something that will tickle your pickle, as it should be. Oh, ow. I need to watch out. I've been getting loads of tremors the last week. That on my left leg has gone crazy. I've barely been able to walk. And I don't just mean go out for a walk, I mean just walk in general. I'm having to hold on to things as I'm walking through the house. Very odd. Don't know what's wrong with it. Hopefully the weather calms down because I need to get out and do a little bit of walking somewhere. It's not good. The smell of lamb cooking always reminds you of Sundays at your great-grandparents. Exactly, Steve. Lamb always reminds me of Christmas. I mean, my mum and dad like lamb, so they will have it during the year occasionally, but not too often. So Christmas morning always smells of lamb. It's the same thing. Such an evocative smell. The cold makes it more difficult to walk. It does, definitely. But I've been lying in bed getting cramps in that leg. So I'll wake up and it's, I don't know, it feels a little bit tight. And also it's a bit numb and hypersensitive at the same time. It just doesn't feel fluid. My knee, at some point I will have to go and see the doctor. Because that knee that I had damaged playing football is really, really bothering me at the moment. I'm just worried in case they say to me you need an operation. Even if it was keyhole surgery, I think I'd be in a little bit of trouble because I wouldn't be able to use crutches. Because my left arm still isn't strong enough to use a crutch. I can't grab hold of it. So I need to be very, very careful. South Africa 4, Nam 0. Yeah. Good stuff. Is it a knockout game yet? Has it reached that stage in the African Cup of Nations yet? Are we at the knockout games? Yep, Namibia. That's the one. The African Cup of Nations. So all the African nations are playing against each other, which means that loads of the European-based African players are not playing in the league. They have to go somewhere else and play. And if some of your best players are African, it can really affect you in the Premier League during that sort of January, February stage. You end up with 2 months of having your star players missing. Which is, I don't think it's too bad for us. I think Idrissa Gana Gueye might be the only person who's gone. But I know years ago you'd have the likes of Chelsea would be losing Didier Drogba and Michael Essien, people like that. So like loads of your top players are suddenly disappearing. It's your second group stage game. Where is it this year? I haven't bothered watching it at all this year. I've been falling out of love with football regularly and thoroughly. It's been annoying me. I can't wait for the rugby league to start. That should be in February, that starts. I much prefer that. Where people are a bit more honest. No rolling around on the ground. Dricus du Plessis won the middleweight UFC title. Now the football is continuing the good vibes. Lovely stuff. Happy days in South Africa. We had the boxing on last night from Liverpool, funnily enough, in the same arena that me and Jess went to watch Noel Gallagher, so it was weird watching it now. That's the first time I've been in there, and now it looks different. So whereabout were we? Constantly looking. And the Scouse girl managed to hold on to her world titles despite the fact that she pretty much got beat by an American girl. Got ripped off by the judges, I think. Yeah, put the ball up. Oops, sorry. The first rat is leaving the Man City ship. Is that the chief operating officer, isn't it? He's gone to Man United as well. Heavy salad. Heavy salad. AFCON is in the Côte d'Ivoire this time round, Ivory Coast. Mad. Obviously they can't play. They can't play in the summer. It is the summer in Africa, isn't it? So, yeah. What's the weather like there at the moment? Is it stupidly hot? I know my dad played in Morocco, I think it was, during the pre-season tournament with Middlesbrough, and just said it was so hot. You couldn't concentrate. You struggled to play. You struggled to train. There was cockroaches that were that big, dead saddles on the back of them in the hotel rooms. I think one of the players tried to steal some of the towels, and some little fella jumped in front of the team coach. Wouldn't move out of the way until he sorted it out with him. So I don't think my dad liked Morocco too much. He said it was a lovely place, but not great memories. The cricket starts Wednesday. Oh, that only stopped about 5 minutes ago, didn't it? Now it's back. Parts of Ghana around the Gold Coast used to be a Danish colony for about 200 years. Yeah, didn't know that. Africa, of course, yes, does lie on both sides of the equator. Ivory Coast, it's around the equator, isn't it? Or not far from it? I don't know, I went to school a long time ago, I can't remember these things. But yeah, it is stupidly huge. It doesn't look it on the maps, but when you see it on a globe, it's just insane how big it is. Yeah, but I don't think my dad was overly enamoured. I don't think he was ready for monkey brains at that point in his career. Things like that. Yeah, the maps do distort it, make it look really small, and it's not. It is humongous. England play India. Oh, good. I can hate India. Not as a nation, it's a lovely nation, but as a cricket team, I hate them. Virat Kohli, he's got one of those faces that I could never stop punching. Horrible man. They're like the the slightly northern Australians, aren't they, India? Horrible the way they play the game. It does, the maps distort the north and south of the globe. Looks done deliberately, I think, as well. From Mozambique to Côte d'Ivoire is the same as from Portugal to Poland. Fucking hell. That is crazy. Yeah, it does make anything close to the equator tiny on the Mercator projection maps. If you get an actual globe and just look at it rather than looking at a map, you'll see how mad it is. And also how big Scotland is compared to England. At the moment it looks like a little tiny bit stuck on the top, and it's not. It is rather big. Yeah, to make sure the ocean travels could be calculated in a straight line. So they are very, very... they're wrong, but they're done for the right reasons. east to west, imagine Cape Town to Cairo. Another thing that sounds like a really good channel name now. How do you make a globe an accurate flat map? You can't, which is why we had to have that projection, unfortunately. Yeah, something has to give in any map, because you can't unravel a globe. Now, on the other hand, if the Earth was flat, it would be a piece of piss to do, wouldn't it? It'd be dead easy to do, but it's not. Something has to give in any Mao as well, doesn't it? Maoists. Do we get into Maoism while we're on here now? Oh no. The flat Earth conspiracy. Yeah, we did start off with that stuff, I think. And again, I'm with Al Murray, pub landlord, on that. Flat. It's not even level, right? Plus, if it was flat, any single airplane over the Earth at 38,000 feet, you'd be able to see Mount Everest, but you can't. The flat earthers, do they think the moon, planets, sun and stars are flat? No, they think the globes, but some of them do think that the moon is a projection. They don't think it's there, despite the fact that the moon has been there since humans have walked the Earth, and things to project haven't. Plus, to be able to project something, you have to have something on which to project something. You can't just put a light into the sky and then it projects, because if you put a light into the air, into the sky, it will just carry on going until it hits something. You have to have something to project onto, so the moon cannot be a projection. But these are the kind of things that they don't take into consideration. Yeah, flat earthers, members round globe. I know I had a flat once, and that was earthed. That's about as close. I actually think that the southern hemisphere is upside down. They have some bizarre things going on. Casper's leveled up to level 14. Fantastic. Well done, Casper. It's it was on the official website of the Flat Earth Society. We have members all around the globe. For fuck's sake. Yeah, mad things, man. Oh, the old Sean Locke joke. If the moon doesn't affect humans, why do I go killing all the time? My mate is a policeman, and his beat sort of is in Preston. He's from Southport, and he obviously works in Preston. You don't work in the same town you're from, because you wouldn't be alive about 10 minutes later. And he said there are some estates in Preston, pretty dodgy estates. He said, but they're controllable. It's, you go there and you have to have a quiet word with some of the people and just calm down, stop being a dickhead. But when there's a full moon, he said the place just goes like the Wild West. So it does affect people. And if you think the moon, if it can pull an entire ocean and cause waves and things like that and tides, we're made of water. So what effect does the moon have on us? Does it drag water and blood up to the top of our heads? Does the brain get overloaded with blood? It's mad. It must affect us. Flat earthers can't comprehend the size of the planet, or the fact that we can travel all over it. So if there was an ice wall, which they say there is around this flat earth, why haven't we been there? You can literally get in a boat and sail around the globe. Or the size of the universe, they don't know that either, definitely. You watch someone bin roll up the hill. Oof, very windy. Very Morecambe windy. You are not averse to the theory that maps are upside down. They are, Mandy. They are. They used to be the other way round. When we first started drawing maps, the south used to be the top of the map. because we were all going from the north, that we draw our little bit, and then we're going in that direction, so here we go. And that disappear. They only got turned to north because, I don't know whether it was to do with shipping. Big shipping companies were all in England, Netherlands, Portugal, places like that. They are very arbitrary. China draws itself in the middle, so does the United States, which makes no sense whatsoever. It makes sense, Europe being in the middle, just because of the way the continent is spread out. So if you do it that way, with the line of longitude going through the UK, as it is now, on the left you get the whole of the Americas, on the right you've got the whole of Europe, Asia and Australasia. It fits perfectly, so it makes more sense doing it that way. But of course, you always put yourself in the middle of the map to make yourself feel better, you know. And yeah, if the earth was flat, cats would knock everything off the sides. Absolutely. The famous blue marble picture was actually flipped because the original was upside down, and we don't like things that don't compute well in our heads. Does China use GMT? Genetically modified trans people? I don't know. Apparently New Zealand's often missing from maps and nobody notices it. Yes, apart from Kiwis, obviously. Yeah, because they're just right at the bottom, aren't they, on their own, out of the way. China is only one time zone, has it? I did not know that. China uses Beijing time. Whatever it uses, it'll be cheaper than us and easier to manufacture. Yeah, mountain rings and ice rings around the edges. All of China uses one time zone. That must be mad. I don't know how they work, because it's a huge country as well, isn't it? Don't know how that works. Beijing is spelled Peking in Dutch. It used to be Peking here as well, didn't it? But obviously some places change their names and some carry on using the same ones, in the same way that Mumbai used to be Bombay, and, you know, Kolkata used to be Calcutta. Things like that. But you don't get Beijing duck, do you? You still get Peking duck if you go in a Chinese. So of course some things never really change. Oh, man. I should stop doing that. My back needs to crack, but at the same time when I do it, my hand starts going all weird. Sri Lanka was Ceylon, and Sri Lanka, yeah. There's loads of places that have changed. We've had to change back to the originals because obviously, if that's your name, that's your name. But we're going to call you something else. No, that's not the name of the place. Yeah, Peking is the old name for Beijing before we changed it and put it back to them. 4-0 to South Africa over Namibia. Good win. Persian rugs, yes, Persia, of course, which is now Iran. Thailand was Siam and Myanmar was Burma. Certain parts of Burma still likes to be called Burma, but the rest of the country likes to be called Myanmar. So we have changed that back, haven't we? In fact, if you watch Top Gear, they mentioned that in the Burma special. It should be now the Myanmar. Swaziland is now Eswatini. Good. That will help the people who struggle with spelling. People think Swaziland is where they make cuckoo clocks and Toblerones, when it's not Switzerland. And there's some people who are still convinced that kangaroos come from Austria, you know. Yep, we call all kinds of countries and cities by a Dutch name rather than the name of their own language. I think the Dutch and the English cousins in that one, aren't we? Went around the world. What's this called? No, we're changing the name of it now. Namibia used to be Southwest Africa. Yeah, we've seen that before as well. Turkey is now Turkey. Yep, has changed its spelling. It's always been Turkiye to them. For us, we just shortened it to Turkey because it's more difficult for an Englishman to say. We do that quite a lot. Especially countries, many big cities in Europe and almost all cities in Walloon, sorry. Quite a few people believe Finland is a fake country. They do. They don't believe that Finland exists at all. They will try and tell you that it can't possibly exist, despite the fact that it's actually a country with people. Yeah. Copenhagen is the capital. Foreigners say Copenhagen. Don't even know where we get Hagen from, because Haven is just, haven. It's a port. Copenhagen. Some Americans believe Australia is a myth. They do. Again, despite the fact that it actually exists and there's people there. If you want to check, you can go there. You can actually fly there. You can wander around. You can see things bouncing up and down, called kangaroos. All the things that are written on them, drawn on a map, you can go there and you can check them out for yourself. You can take a compass with you. This is where this says it's going to be, and there it is, right in front of me. So you can check all these things out as much as you like. They're there. You can get in a car. Actually get in a car in the UK. Drive under the Channel Tunnel, and then you can drive to Finland. You can go through, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Poland. Go around that way to the Baltic states, and you can get to Finland, and it's there. It's actually right there. Some Americans think that Netherlands is in Denmark. Yeah. That's what happens when you think that you're the most important country on earth. You don't really care about other countries, so you don't learn about them as much. But that, of course, that happens. If you go in the UK and ask people where's this, they wouldn't have a clue half the time now, because the level of education has gone through the floor. You've met them, exactly. In Istanbul, what you call the Blue Mosque is actually Sultan Ahmet Camille. Kirsty, you pretend to be Finnish just to piss them off. You're in a bad mood. Many think you speak Dutch in Denmark. Or Denmark. At some point that's going to change as well. When you go from calling it Denmark to Denmark. In the same way that we moved from calling the Netherlands Holland. To actually start calling it the Netherlands. Because I think we're starting to realise they call it a name for a reason. It's not just those two little bits there. It's the rest of it. You met an American who was surprised he spoke English well. I had to explain to him we spoke English before they were a country. Yep. Again, this is just down to the fact that there's absolutely awful education systems around the world. It shouldn't be difficult, especially if you're in a country that speaks English. Just go say to them, right, if you want to go anywhere in the world but you don't want to learn a language, go to England. That's where the language came from, funnily enough. Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. There's loads of places they speak really good English. Mandy lost a lackey. She might have done with all that, the winds in Capel Curig. You once on a holiday to Bonaire, you met an American woman who was there for 2 weeks. She asked why there's so many Dutch people here. Denmark, yep. We need to change it. Let people know exactly, this is what the country's called, call it this. And of course, we'll have to change the name of Finland, of course, to Suomi. Yeah, she asked why there's so many Americans in Hawaii. She still didn't get it. Yep. Mad. Mandy's still knitting, furiously knitting. How's the lad getting on? Is Mini Horace complete? Is he a full bear? Was there for 2 weeks and didn't even know what country she was in. Do you know what? I'm genuinely hoping that YouTube will be a thing for a benefit to the world, and you will have people who are watching. I mean, we've got loads of our American friends who react to British stuff and react to European stuff, who are now starting to hear and see things about somewhere else in the world. They are getting more of an understanding. Things that you wouldn't be taught in schools, and things that are more important than you get taught in schools anyway. So I think hopefully bit by bit people will be able to be a bit more educated by sharing stories with each other. That's the way things should be. We should go back to that storytelling tradition. But instead of sitting around a campfire doing it, we just do it via video instead. The moon has moved again down there now. Now see, that is projected. That's projected because there's a fucking wardrobe there to project it onto and a wall. You can't do that in the sky. Sunday's just Monday Eve, isn't it, Jeff? It is. Absolutely. It's easy to get an American to believe the UK is in Finland. They believe anything if you tell them. Can we make requests? Everyone can always make requests. What's Spencer just released? Is this a quiz question, Steve? Is this something that we should know? The hostages? A high C note? In Austrian airports, they have counters for people who ended up there instead of booking tickets to Australia. Would not surprise me in the slightest. I know the Microsoft helpline, they said at one point 50% of their calls were from people saying, I can't find the any button on the computer. Because when you've been installing something, it just says press any button to continue. I can't find the any button. It says fucking any button. No, I can't find it. No, any fucking button. No, yeah, I can't. Press G instead then. You sure that'll work? I think so, yeah. Half-wits. Like I was not making any effort to wake up. I'm not surprised. Poor sod. Give him a tummy rub off us. Just got a notification. I haven't got notifications off anyone for ages, I don't think. No. Oh, Americans react to Geography Now, Colombia. That was Embrace the Globe. So they've just dropped a video, which I think is what we're talking about, isn't it, really? I'll have a look in a minute. Yeah, let sleeping dogs lie. Don't know what he's released, but he's in a car. Oh. He needs to pee before you go to sleep. He does, definitely. So if you remember, the tech support guy got a call because the guy had moved his mouse to the edge of the mouse pad and needed more to move further in that direction. Oh, isn't it fantastic? Oh, just learn. Pick it up, learn. Colombia, yeah. That's where Daniel's dad is from, which is why, if you have a look at the video that I've just released, it's called This One's Personal. Geography Now about Colombia. So that should be good by the look of it. Kev's released a Tommy Johansson as well. Oh, a 2-in-1, so he's got 2 songs on there by the look of it. So there's a few things to keep you going. Oh, the app files streamed earlier as well. So you'll be able to watch the VOD of that one, the video on demand. And, well, we're over, aren't we? Over the 2 hours. So I have to start tidying up and getting ready. Because, you know, before too long, it's going to be Monday, and I'm not looking forward to that whatsoever. But I need to be prepared. Tommy's going to quit Sabaton, is he? Not a band I'm really into at all, to be honest with you. Which is why at times some of the YouTube stuff is starting to just it's passing me by. If there's about 7 or 8 different people reacting to the same bands and I don't like those bands, that's a huge amount of content that I can't really watch. Oh, but there is some new car stuff. Yep, there's new car stuff out, so I'll be able to watch that. Amongst other things. I would try and fix the tech on this, but I can't be arsed tonight. I'm going to have to do that tomorrow, I think. Who's Tommy? What's Sabaton? It's not the real Tommy. It's not, he's not good at playing pinball, unfortunately. You learn to like them, but you're getting to find some new bands, but many not, yeah. It just, when it comes to music, I'm not finding much music on YouTube, to be honest. It's Spotify, through the algorithm, I'm finding quite a bit on there. And I've got mates who are into a lot of the same music I am, so seeing what they're putting on Twitter and on a couple of them, well, one of them does a radio station as well. He does little shows on a radio station. So I just, whatever he puts on, I'll listen to his show and think, right, I like the sound of that band, I'll go and see a bit more of what they do. But I know that it's the kind of music I like, whereas sort of Nightwish, Sabaton, Electric Callboy and all that stuff I don't really like, so just there's video after video where it's passing me by. But it's popular. And if you're doing YouTube as a job, or you're trying to make money out of it, you have to give people what they like, so I understand completely why it's happening. But not for me. Not for me, Clive, not for me. Yeah, Tommy, can you hear me? Brilliant, I love The Who. A deaf and blind kid who sure plays a mean pinball. I might listen to Quadrophenia in bed tonight, actually. Can you see the real me? Yeah, anyway, it's that time of night, isn't it? I think. Time to go and have a glass of alcohol-free red, as normal. Put my feet up and relax and say thank you very much, everyone. It's always fantastic having you in. I really do enjoy these nights. And instead of Sunday being one of those nights where I'm worried about work tomorrow and I get stressed and what have you, it's not. It's one of those nights where I can chill and relax, and I go into Monday in a much better feeling. Tommy's top, what a voice. Yeah, it's just not my kind of thing, to be honest with you, Kev. Like I say, when you've got 7 or 8 different people reacting to the same things, it's just, I have to go and pass back until someone comes up with something I like. But I've tried, it's not my kind of thing. Well. Unmet Osman is the soundtrack to the new line I had. Yep. Thank you for the lovely evening. Stay safe and be good, guys, definitely. Have a good night. Take care. Be careful if you're in the middle of Storm Isha, because it's very nasty out there by the sound of it at the moment. So be very, very careful. Watch out for flying roof tiles. We don't want anyone getting injured. Yep, each to their own, exactly. Different strokes for different folks, as they said, and the one I had is not the one to have. So, cheers very much.
That's all we've got time for this evening, so it's good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night. Good night.
And that's that.
Hoo-yah!